Hey guys, I'm Dov, and today I'm back with more Total War Warhammer 2 online action. Today we're back with the High Elves. Going to be taking a look at another replay from the tournament. This time Felcon's taken Olithanar, one of the approved meme lords who is just about Grimgore levels of terrible. Just look at that face. Anyway, he's taken the High Elves against Hadri's Dark Elves. So let's go ahead and take a look at the list. Of course, Olithanar leading the way for the High Elves. Got a front line of some White Lions, also another unit I'm not the biggest fan of, but we'll see how they do here. Some Spearmen on the flanks, 3 Lothern Sea Guard. Great pick against the Dark Elves, as they have a lot of high-value, low-armor units that the Lothern Sea Guard can get some really good work against. More Spearmen in the back there. 2 units of Dragon Princes, and I'm so glad that he brought the Naggarith color scheme and Dragon Princes, because now we just get to admire, once again, the Tuxedo Princes in their black and white, with the gold accents and a tinge of red, just looking absolutely fabulously classy. Like, seriously, I would want these guys to, like, guard a hotel or something, like, I don't know. Anyway, we've also got, I think that's pretty much it for the High Elf build, actually. There's a Life Mage as well, and yeah, for the Dark Elves, we've got some Dark Riders with Repeater Crossbows, Slaanesh Harvesters, Black Ark Corsairs and Witch Elves scattered around here. Looks like some Sisters of Slaughter as well. We've got 2 units of Cold One Knights and Morathi up in the air. Without further ado, let's get the battle rolling. You can see the Lothern Sea Guard immediately going to be opening up shots on the Dark Riders here. Olithanar may pop off a shot here as well, but you can see that there his shot landed. The biggest reason why I'm not a big fan of Olithanar, why I think he's one of the worst lords in the game, is he is horribly accurate. Like, he can't hit the broadside of a cav unit, which is just, I mean, for like one of the best, quote-unquote, best archers in lore, it's kind of ridiculous that he can't hit the broadside of a barn. But anyway, Lothern Sea Guard going to be tearing apart these Witch Elves on the approach. You can see the rest of the Dark Elf infantry starting to get in there. Olithanar is going to get maybe involved in melee here. Might pop off some point-blank shots here, do some fancy spin moves and stuff, but the White Lions would normally trade very well against the Corsairs, but obviously with the Witch Elves supporting there, they will probably collapse. Meanwhile, though, the Lothern Sea Guard are perfectly secure to continue firing. They've routed off that one Witch Elf, that other Corsair got routed off, and yeah, you can see them now just firing in here, doing a ton of damage to these Warlocks, who unfortunately were tied up on some spears. Morathi comes down to kill the Life Mage, though, and man, is she gonna kill that Life Mage. She got her with the Doom Bolt, and now she's just slapping her in the face with the sword. And yeah, that poor Life Mage is gonna be done for. You can see another Doom Bolt comes down on those Lothern Sea Guard, and yeah. Another unit of Doomfires that I had failed to see earlier are just about into the cookie jar, but the Tuxedo Prince is going to go ahead and respond to countercharge here and easily dispatch them. And Felcon's doing a great job keeping his Lothern Sea Guard secure with his Spearmen, just, you know, circling the wagon, so to speak. You can see these guys have been more or less free to fire the entire time, and they've been able to tear apart a lot of the high-value low armor units for the Dark Elves, which is exactly what you want as the High Elves. You can see the Dark Rider's going to try and return fire here, but this is never a skirmish fight that they'll win straight up. So probably better off to just focus on the White Lions and try and charge in on the Lothern Sea Guard. But at this point, the balance of power is pretty far out of favor for the Dark Elves. They're going to have a tough time coming back regardless. You can see the Sisters of Slaughter did push up and around and finally got into combat, but I think the biggest issue for the Dark Elves is they maybe didn't have anything, not anything, everything rather, in a position to bring in all at once. Like, they did a pretty good job, but Hadris just engaged a little bit more piecemeal than he probably needed to. You can see, though, Morathi's in here. Is that she dropping a Soul Stealer on all those units around her? Probably just about to finish off Olithanar here. He's actually taking quite a bit of damage, but yeah, this is a better target for the Dark Riders here to fire in on the Dragon Princes here. They're able to do some solid damage, take down a few of the unit models. Unfortunately, there's just nothing to challenge the Lothern Sea Guard at this point. We've still got this one unit perfectly healthy and online. This other side here is being secured with the help of the Dragon Princes, so that's relatively done there. And you can see Morathi also starting to take a lot of damage. She was able to finish off, just about finish off Olithanar. So, I mean, Morathi able to snipe out both the High Elf heroes here, but just the Lothern Sea Guard standing firm, definitely the MVPs here, and Elithon, oh man, just walks right through that like he doesn't even care. Oh geez. Anyway, fun battle. Thanks to Falcon for sending that one in. He went 4-2 with the High Elves using both the Princess and Elithanar, so I'm going to be showing off a few more of his replays, but yeah, very fun stuff. Like I said, MVP I think definitely goes to the Lothran Sea Guard. White Lions also, one of them did much better than I expected, and White Lions is one of those units they're not very good in a lot of matchups, and even in this matchup I'm not really a big fan of them just because the Dark Elves have a lot of ways to deal with them, but just in a straight up infantry fight, none of their infantry can really beat them except maybe Witch Elves. I'd have to test that again. I don't know that they necessarily have enough armor piercing. Sisters of Slaughter for sure, and obviously anything above Witch Elves and Sisters like Hargonath Executioners, you know, Blackguard, they will outclass White Lions no problem, but anything below that, you know, Bleak Swords, Corsairs, they'll lose to White Lions just one-on-one, but like I said, there's definitely a lot of things that can change that, but overall the White Lions able to do quite well this time around. 76 kills in an XP chevron for these guys. The Dragon Princes also did quite well. The Tuxedo Princes there, 71 kills on one, only 30 for the other, but they didn't take hardly any damage. For Hadris, the Sisters of Slaughter, once they got in there, were able to get some really good work done. Some of the units had some bright spots, you know, Cold One Knights did okay, these Doomfire Warlocks did okay, but overall, I think the lack of missile block chance really hurt him there. Like, personally, in the front line, I would have probably cut those Corsairs and just gone with more Bleak Swords because they have missile block chance. They'll still trade okay against High Elf Spearmen, and, I mean, Corsairs aren't really going to beat White Lions anyway, so I'd rather see something else. The Witch Elves are also a bit of a gamble as well, just because the High Elves are such a powerful missile faction. Again, I would have liked to have seen maybe more shielded infantry. Sisters of Slaughter do have a small missile block chance, but at least it's something. But yeah, still, pretty fun battle. Hope you guys enjoyed watching that one. Let's see here. We're going to go ahead and jump into another one of Falcon's, just because that one was a little bit short. So let's go ahead and just jump into one more. And this time Falcon's going to be taking on Shetland Apache's Beastmen. So we're definitely in for a wild battle this time. This time Falcon's traded out the Dragon Princes for an actual dragon. So we've got a Star Dragon up here in the air, and instead of a Lithanar, we've got a Princess up on the Pigeon, which I actually think is a much better pick. Still maybe not super competitive, but man, look at that stance that she's got up there. Wow, that's, is she like sitting side saddle? Why? That seems so awkward. Anyway, Pigeon Lady here, White Lions, Spearmen, you know, Lothran Sea Guard, what you would expect. For Shetland Apache, he's got some Ungor Herd vanguarded up here. He's got Centaurs with great weapons, Centaurs with throwing axes, led by Kazrak the One-Eye. He is one of the approved meme lords for the Beastmen. He's also got Brave Shame Lord of Shadows, Ungor Herd, Ungor Spearman Herd, whole bunch of them, and more mobile units out on the side. So very light on infantry, but a lot of mobility. And yeah, we'll see how it goes for him. The Star Dragon is potentially a pretty big risk here, but the Centaurs with throwing axes, if they can get in a good position, can take this guy down. So we'll see. Man, look at the spots on that guy's wing. That's pretty cool looking. Anyway, you can see the Pigeon Lady coming up, starting to do some damage. That volley of high arrows did okay, not a whole lot against the Brave Shaman, but this unit of Ungor Spearman Herd's definitely taking some heat here. They're in a very uncomfortable situation, and the Lothran Sea Guard, again, for Falcon, going to be doing a lot of work here, firing into high-value, low-armor units, which in this case is going to be the Centaurs. Now, it is pretty tough to pin down the Centaurs, but here comes the Pigeon Lady. Quick charge on these Ungor Herd, just trying to rout them off before they can really contribute to the battle. And interestingly enough, the Beastmen are going to have to really rely on their mobile units here to finish off these White Lions, because their infantry will just lose hardcore. And a very nice use of the Awakening of the Wood there to debuff the speed of the Sons of Goros here, bring them down to only 54 speed. So yeah, I didn't notice that he had that spell. I think he would maybe used it a handful of times in the last game as well, but a very nice use of that. Does cause a pretty good amount of magic damage, and the 48% speed debuff can potentially be very powerful. You don't see that spell used too often, but Falcon's going to go ahead and use it to good effect here. You can see this time the Lothran Sea Guard do get compromised. Of course, they do have spears to fight these Centaurs off with, so they'll do okay. Still still not necessarily ideal, and oh man, I don't know what happened to that guy, but some physics happened and he just went flying. But anyway, Pit of Shades going down over here. Unfortunately, it did catch some of those Sons of Goros, but definitely doing a lot of damage to those White Lions. Probably going to finish them off. You can see the High Elf Infantry doing okay. It's having a hard time keeping up, though, with all these mobile units. You can see Poison Hounds come in for a quick charge here, screen out these guys, stop them in place. Unfortunately for the Brave Shaman Lord of Shadows, he did get caught up in the middle here, and the Star Dragon came down and just ate his lunch. Kazarak's also taken a lot of heat from the remaining Lothern Sea Guard, and I mean, he does have 100 armor, but he doesn't have any kind of missile block chance, so he's going to get in here, you know, go out full-on Sue Pig, and let's see. He does have Scourge up as well, so he's got poison attacks and better combat stats, but a brutal breath attack going down, doing a little bit of friendly fire actually as well, but also roasting out a whole bunch of Centaurs. And yeah, just wild battle at this point. Still very close. You can see if we take an overarching look, the Centaur is going to go ahead and alpha strike this unit of White Lions, and they're going to be offline more or less. Thankfully, the Lothern Sea Guard, 2 units, one almost gone, but another unit fully healthy, and a very nice Awakening of the Wood goes down and hits all the units in this pocket, which means they are all going to be speed debuffed, which is a really, really nice use of that. The Centaurs, once again, charging in on the Lothern Sea Guard. Thankfully, their spears will help them out here, and the Centaurs immediately going to pull away and try and charge the Spearmen, but once again, these Spearmen are unbraced, so they will take a pretty good amount of shock damage, but once they turn around and start to get the attacks, they'll be able to get some work done. And here's the clincher: the Star Dragon comes down and just eats Kazarak. And yeah, with Kazarak offline, the Beastmen are going to start suffering leadership issues. They've been able to deal with most of the High Elf Infantry relatively well. You can see the High Elf ground forces are suffering pretty badly, but this Star Dragon is more or less untouched at this point. It just hasn't taken any damage whatsoever, and what little damage it did take has been healed away. Another brutal breath attack coming down, roasting out tons and tons of Centaurs, and he's going to go ahead and probably drop the big old terror bomb. You can see Kazarak's chariot over here. At least I think that's Kazarak, or it might be the Shaman. I guess it's the Shaman. Anyway, let's see. Star Dragon comes down. He's going to eat a face full of axes, and this is probably the #1 unit that can deal damage to him still, and there are still some Centaurs that are throwing axes online, so Felcon's going to have to be careful not to throw it away. But if he could just proc army losses at this point, the Beastmen aren't that far away from it. You can see a lot of their infantry being pushed off over here. If he can get a hold of this mobile task force here and take it down, you can see they're all going to come in and try and alpha strike this White Lion, but this is going to stop them up and allow the Star Dragon to come down and go ahead and have lunch. So yeah. Oh man, those poor Beastmen just immediately get terrified, and with that mobile group gone, that's going to be enough to hit critical army losses, and the rest of the Beastmen forces are just going to rout off. So very well played to both players. Another super fun battle, very good use of the Lothern Sea Guard there, and man, Felcon's just mean with those Lothern Sea Guard. That was brutal. But yeah, this build actually worked out a lot better than I thought it would. When I first watched this replay, I was like, oh man, what's it going to do with these White Lions? You know, I'm not a big fan. They get wrecked by Bestigor. The Beastmen have a lot of other armor-piercing tools that can deal with them quite easily. But they did okay. Shetland didn't have any Bestigor, and he does have some armor-piercing tools, but they were busy, you know, doing other things. And they were able to deal with quite a few groups of them. You can see 2 of them only got about 30-ish kills. 80 and 122 on the other ones, where they were able to clean up a ton of the Ungors. But yeah, the real MVPs though, definitely Lothern Sea Guard, and of course the Star Dragon. 117 kills, 3 XP chevrons, got some absolutely brutal breath attacks that just roasted out tons and tons of goats. So yeah, that was quite good. And then the Pigeon Lady, of course, 45 kills, hardly took any damage. 78 on the Mage here, the Life Mage, and very nice use of the Awakening of the Wood as well. Not a spell you get to see too often, but a spell that's very useful, and maybe one you may see start to come around again, just because that speed debuff is awesome for a control playstyle. If you want healing, but you still want that control playstyle, you can take that Awakening of the Wood, and it really gives you some good value. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed watching this quick double cast of some of Felcon's meme games. If you do like this sort of content, be sure to like, subscribe, hit that bell notification button so every time I upload a new video, you'll be notified. Thanks again for watching. We'll see you next time.